Stop playing this crypto game like a friendly game of Monopoly with the family, if a friendly game of Monopoly even exists. Stop playing it like a game of 3D chess. Stop playing this like it doesn't matter, because it does. Because for some of you listening to this, it's going to range, right? But you might be someone like me who wants to retire very early from the gains you make in this next bull run. You might be someone who wants to retire because you're, on the later stages of your life, or maybe you're just someone who wants to move to a different city, country, or just build your family a nice house. And I know a lot of you watching this want that in some capacity. So why are you literally not paying attention to the warning signs? Why are you running through this, not putting every ounce of your human being effort into succeeding? I can tell you 100 horror stories about what I've listened to based on people around me, all the things that I've seen with my own eyes with my friends. One of my old friends, I was working with him in the last bull run. What did he do? He never used to want to get up late at night. He never used to want to wake up at 3 in the morning. I would text him, call him, hey mate, do this now, quickly, urgently. He'd say, no, rest is more important. Where is he right now? In fucking debt, right? He's in debt and he's fucking hating his life and he's saying, I wish. Well, the difference is this bull run, you can't have that. Because if you go ahead and have a similar situation like that, or the countless others that I can name off the top of my head, you're not going to have a second chance, right? This is our last chance. So if you haven't had a bull run or multiple bull runs before, well, I'm sorry to say you can't learn the hard way. And you guys know how much I speak about this and how passionate I am about telling you all this. I don't care if this video gets 1,000 views. As long as those 1,000 people watching this, you guys actually go ahead and listen to this advice. If 1,000 people can make life-changing wealth, maybe even generational wealth, and that's what I'm here for, right? And that's the main purpose. And I've been thinking recently about this, right? And we'll get into some information here in a second. I want to show you guys some data that's going to indicate what comes next and why you literally can't miss out. And again, this is why I'm stressing right now. You can't miss out, right? So I've been thinking to myself recently, what am I going to do as my career moves on? I'm 24 years old, right? I'm thinking, okay, well, crypto's great. Crypto's an awesome, thriving industry right now. It's very speculation-based, but I'm thinking, well, as you all know, my outlook on the next bear market into the next bull run isn't going to be the same crypto we know and love. I don't know. I know it's not going to be this same get-rich-quick place we know it as. And as time progresses, it will slowly merge more and more into a market, probably where these cryptocurrencies start to actually form businesses and move away from a crypto per se market. So what am I going to do with my life? Well, that's not for you to worry about, but this is what I'm sort of saying here. I am starting to think about this, and I like to be 10 steps ahead of the next guy and think about this, and so should you. Now, being 5 steps ahead in this case is thinking about this bull run, right? Not living in the moment. Get yourself out of that. Start thinking about the future here, and what the future is potentially a last true crypto bull run, right? So you can't afford to miss out. Now, I'm going to show you this chart on the screen here. This is something that I made many, many months ago, and I don't want to be that guy, but I'm going to say it because I was fucking right, okay? I said that literally around August, we will see, typically, at least from history, a pickup in demand for the market, right? Now, of course, no one could have predicted what the actual catalyst was in this case, and the catalyst being the BlackRock ETF filing, right? And of course, now the Ethereum filing, and now we have all these rumors about these other ETFs that, for these smaller cryptocurrencies that Fidelity or someone, whoever they might be, are wanting to file, right? But nevertheless, we couldn't have predicted that. But what we did predict and what we knew was coming was a spike in demand. And because we have a look, historically speaking, 14 months before every halving, again, this is going off the last 2 halvings, by the way, when, more people are interested in the space, and also 8 months before the halving as well, we see an even larger spike then again. Okay, and that's kind of what I outlined many, many months ago. It's great to see it's played out. Cool, I can pat myself on the back all I want, but that's not the main point of this. What I'm sort of saying is what also I believe is going to play out in this case is the top of the halving, right? And why is this important? Why is this really substantial to know? Well, think about it, right? If you can sort of have a crystal ball and see in the future, wouldn't you want to use it, right? Now, I'm not saying this is correct, but it is eerily freaky, the fact that the last 2 halving the tops have been exactly 548 days. I'm not talking about 549 rounded back to sound nice and even and cool. I am talking about exactly 548 days, halving to top. So given the fact that we don't know the halving for Bitcoin in April, of course, we're just going to say, April 1st to give a month buffer, right? So April 1st, well, it'd be October 30, 2025 would be roughly when we can expect the top to happen. And I think most people in crypto that have done the research on this, as far as I've seen so far, agree with this thesis, okay? But whether I'm a month, 2 months, whether I'm a whole quarter of a year off, it doesn't matter. Why that's important is we know now, based on this, when we should have our last positions in. Now, this is why I've outlined 16 and 15 months over here, basically June, July, essentially, of 2024. But again, let me just tell you something. Let me just show you some of the facts here, right? We have, in the bull run back in 2016 to 2018, which by the way wasn't obviously the first bull run, the bull runs before that were even crazier than this. There was a 63.5x gain from halving to top, right, in terms of the global market cap. Substantial. I think before that it was double. It was 123 or something like that. Massive, massive multiples. But we're diminishing, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring up here, right? So we've gone from a 252 billion market cap back in 2020, which, let's face it, wasn't that long ago, to a 3 trillion global market cap. It's a 12x. It's pretty impressive itself, and I'm expecting, based on this sort of diminishing expectations here, for us to go from about a 1.5 trillion market cap in 2024, which by the way is pretty realistic in my opinion. We're at a essentially 4 or 5 trillion right now, as you can see up here. So that to me sounds very realistic. And if we just go to what's expected, the lows, right, 5 trillion to a 10 trillion global market cap, that's between a 3.3x and a 6.7x, or a 6.6x technically speaking, right? So what does that really mean? Well, we're diminishing, guys, right? So again, this kind of goes into the fact that this might be our last crypto bull run. So why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your time not taking this shit seriously, right? Now, I get it, right? Everyone lives busy lives and everyone doesn't have the time to go into, full analysis. And none of us like this, right? I don't like a lot of the TA stuff that other guys do. I like fundamental analysis, right? So I get it. I understand that, crypto's, for most of you, a way to make money. All I'm saying is stop being so tribal. Stop being so, I love my project. This is the bee's knees. You got to be flexible. Like Bruce Lee said, be water, right? Be malleable. And that's what we want to be in this case. I want to introduce you guys to a channel partner, not a sponsor of this video, but rather a partnership that I've created to help all you aspiring traders. I know I have a large audience of you guys who either sometimes trade, casually trade, or again, want to aspire to be a full-time trader. Well, I've partnered with Bybit today because, as most of you should know, it is one of the most used exchanges out there and actually one of the most liquid as well. It's particularly suited for those who want to trade in any little nuanced way possible. I'm going to mention some of those nuances in a second here, but if you guys did want to create an account with Bybit, if you were impressed at all, please go on any of my descriptions, scroll down to the first link under the Want to Trade section, aspiring full-time traders, and click my referral link to access Bybit. Over there, once you do sign in, again, you will support the channel in that way as well, you have a whole host of options, right? One of the cool things is you have the spot market, but you also have leverage trading, which means you can, put in $1,000 and trade with 10,000. Of course, there are associated risks with that as well. But also you can margin trade, which means that you can put up your crypto assets, keep them locked up so you don't have to sell them, and then trade with their associated, equivalent, right? If you put $10,000 worth of XRP in, you can trade with $10,000. Of course, it's collateral. So if you lose it, you lose it. But of course, that allows you to be more flexible. If you make it back, of course, you keep the asset. It's as very, very simple as that. So that's a really cool benefit. But also, they do have multiple different ways you can trade with derivatives. They have options, they have futures. It just expands, right? But some really cool options that I think you guys need to check out here is under the tools section, you can use Trade GPT to trade as a GPT or an AI for you. Really cool is if that's kind of scary to you, and I get a lot of people that's kind of like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, it allows you to just DCA as well. You can literally make this bot just DCA for you. It's kind of nutty in a way. Also, you can copy trade as well. So you can copy trade some of the top traders in the spot realm. So, when they buy and sell, you just copy that. Pretty cool, pretty simple. But what I quite like about this is it also has access to futures contracts as well, something other exchanges can't say, which is awesome. So with that said, guys, if you are interested in Bybit, please go ahead and support the channel. Use my link down below. And of course, with that all said, let's get straight back into the video. So what I want to say and move on from here is we'll have a look at sort of why I'm expecting a 50% retracement as well, and why that's also important to establish. But I just want to quickly point out one thing, as I said over here, right? This is partly why I say cryptos are a why will diminish as we move past 2025, right? As ETFs are approved and institutional confidence increases, so we have retail confidence for the ETF, we also have institutional confidence, we also have frameworks being implemented, crypto will move into an asset class that is somewhat similar to traditional markets, slower moving, less volatile. Now, the Bitcoin halving, in my opinion, also won't have the same impact it once will. When these projects like Hedera, Algorand, Cardano, Solana, Chainlink, When these start eventually moving to just growing themselves and actually, growing the market cap size based on actually being adopted and used by institutions and so on and so forth, the Bitcoin halving isn't going to really be a siren like it once was, okay? You can argue the whole halving effect won't be as significant and stuff like that, and that's a whole economic debate I'm not going to go into. But what we're sort of talking about here is just the space essentially establishing itself and actually becoming a more involved area. So again, what I'm still saying is you won't have anything past 2025 near as what we're going to have in this last true crypto bull run, in my opinion, right? Now, there is this, another topic I want to touch on in this video, and again, it goes into the whole fact that you can't miss out, which is you can't miss out on having a little bit of cash on the side. Now, I'm speaking from pure experience here when I say if you are someone 100% in, all your money is completely involved with crypto right now, I believe that is a big mistake. Just like someone who's 100% off on the sidelines right now. Now, many of you would have seen my video the other day of selling my crypto. If you watched the first 10 seconds, you would have known that was a subscriber I was talking about, not myself. What I think a nice sweet spot is, and what I also talk about in my courses, I think a sweet spot is anywhere between 95% in, 5% out, all the way up to 70% in, 30% out. And when I say out, I mean stable coins. Because typically we see around it's diminishing as well, but we see quite a large decrease or drop in price in Bitcoin before the halving. Take way back in 2014, right? So this little blip all the way over here, okay? This dip right here, what we actually went and saw was a 75% crash from around these levels all the way down to the lowest point in this sort of bear market phase. And then from that lowest point, we saw 540 days-ish, or rather 546 days, to the actual halving itself, right? So that happened before the halving. Now, if we fast forward to the last bull run we just had, we can see here, look at this, 72.5%, almost the same, but let's not really be that technical. I believe this crash was really perpetuated by COVID. COVID happened here. You guys might know this already. So I really think if that didn't happen, the low would have been around about here. I mean, you could argue down here, but let's talk about actual trading area here. And let's not go to the wick. So you could argue about 50% or so. That to me makes a lot of sense, right? That crash. And again, this actually happened before the halving. So if you count COVID, it was 63 days. If you count well before COVID, it was 147 days. So again, these drops are diminishing, yes, and the time before the halving is diminishing, which is interesting, right? Because if we fast forward to where we are right now, all the way over here, okay, we are approximately, from where we are roughly speaking, about 140 days before the halving, right? 130 actually. So again, we're starting to get to the point where a crash could happen. And if you'll notice, we actually are, look at this, look at the bear market, right? We're trending up. Now, again, this could most definitely be just an upward movement, right? We could just be continuing up. I suspect a little bit of a retracement before the halving. But, if the Bitcoin ETF doesn't get approved until the halving, it would make a lot of sense for us to have a bit of a crash, right? So, and again, I think we are right now expecting something like this to happen, right? Just based on the fact that, hey, the Bitcoin ETF might actually be denied temporarily and then approved later on. We just don't know. We're not psychics, right? But if we saw a 45% retracement, that would actually put us back down to the level we saw before. Even if we didn't, it would actually make a little bit of sense here if we saw, again, a reduction of about 20 or so percent, just based on what's been happening the last few cycles. And it would put us around about down here, right? Just under the trillion global market cap. So do I think this is possible? Yes, but this is what I'm saying. You can't afford to miss out if this does happen, right? Crypto falls 30%, global market cap. Altcoins are going to damn well fall with it. So will Bitcoin. So if you have no cash on the side, I'm sorry to say, guys, but that's the opportunity right there to pick up pennies on the dollar. And so if we just go back for a second and have a look historically speaking at what crypto looks like, right? This was a global sort of snapshot taken back on CoinMarketCap in 2021 around November. And we can see some of these prices, right? Take a look at this. Bitcoin being $1.1 trillion. Well, to be honest with you, we're not too far off that, really, are we? Ethereum, 546 billion market cap, right? We have XRP, 57, Avalanche, 19 over here. Polkadot being 51 billion market cap. I think this is roughly around when Polkadot peaked. Okay, now, some of these weren't at their peaks at this point, right? Cardano, I think, peaked at about 90 billion. So you can imagine taking from where we are right now, and keep in mind that global market cap back then maxed out at 2.9 trillion. And we're saying over here, it's going to minimum 5 trillion, 5 to 10 trillion. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that we have a lot of room to grow here, especially if we have a crash. That's going to be a great moment to pick up some of these altcoins on a discount from where we are right now. And again, look at some of these prices from back here, right? Cardano at $2, again, it peaked at around almost $3. BNB, $650. Ethereum, just under $5,000 at this point. Bitcoin at $63,000, okay? So again, if we have a dip of 30, 40, 50%, some altcoins 60%, that 30% of cash you have on the side will go, again, pennies on the dollar, where we'll actually will extend to at that point in time in the future, right? So again, this is just a reminder for you all to please don't get caught up thinking that you're playing a friendly game of Monopoly with the family. None of that is happening right now. This is your future. And if you're someone who's taking this lightheartedly, I'm sorry to say, I'm really, really sorry to say, I do not feel sorry for you. You should be spending every single waking moment you possibly can at doing as much as you can. All right, I get it. We all can't analyze it this detail, but just watching people, just learning yourself. So guys, with that being said, thank you for watching it the whole way through. And if you have, hit a like on the video. It tells me you've enjoyed the content, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Best of luck in 2025, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.